Dakota Johnson joins me now. How are you?
I'm well. That was such a nice intro. How are you?
I'm doing okay. It's a really beautiful film. Congratulations on it.
Thank you.
How is your pandemic going? What was I watching? I was watching the Jimmy Kimmel thing you did, and I didn't know you were neighbors with Hunter S. Thompson.
Yeah, growing up, yeah. Yeah, Hunter lived down the road.
Sounds like I think I would have been. I think that would have been a dream to me when I was 16 years old.
Oh, for sure. My brother had a mighty good time with him.
I just imagine trying to go to sleep and there being guns shot off in the middle of the night, and you know.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
precisely that. Exactly that.
let's talk a little bit about our friend. Take me back to the first time you read Matthew Teague's story. What jumped out at you?
I read the script first and then I read the article in Esquire and I just thought it was really like a beautiful portrayal of pretty pure humanity and um, relationships. I thought it was so brave for Matt to write the article, let alone greenlight a movie to be made based on his article, because it's not necessarily the kind of story that you would think someone would want to relive, but he sees the beauty and the lessons and the humanity and the compassion inside this his life events that I think he knows how profoundly it can affect other people, how widely it can reach other people, and I think is just brave enough to let this happen.
But not only that, I mean, not only did he have to relive it and be able to watch it on screen, but he let you in, Dakota. Like, from what I understand, I mean, you were able to spend time with your character who passed in 2014, Nicole's husband, and the kids. What was the most helpful thing you learned from doing that?
The level of bravery. They weren't, Matt and the girls were there sometimes on set, and that was really, you know, I think I was just like, gosh, they really believe in this. They really believe in this love, and they believe in friendship, and they believe in compassion in a way that is so bold. It's so brave to be to let us in, and to, we filmed in the town that they're from, and everybody in the town knows them, and they knew Nicole, and it's a small town, so it's not like everybody knew what we were doing and who we were all playing. And
How's that for you?
it was intense. It was kind of, you could you could look at it like, oh God, this is so intense, but or you could look at it like it's magical and special, and like how lucky to be able to tell such a beautiful and important story in the real town with the real people and have everybody support it. If I went into a coffee shop or a restaurant, one of the waiters or the owner would say, oh, Nicole used to come and she'd sit here every day. And, it's like, it wasn't so long ago. And there was just something really special about making this movie.
How real, not a character. How, like, as an actor, I imagine, like even a real person can be a character on a script. But when you go
Yeah.
into the coffee shop and they say she was there, she's real.
Yeah.
I got this clip I wanted to play you. So Matthew Teague was on a panel at the Toronto International Film Festival, and he said something about you that was really moving. Take a listen to this.
Some of my favorite moments on set were actually between takes. I would watch Dakota play little games with both my real girls and the girls playing them. She would be, I see you, and all this sort of thing. And I realized, oh, she's mothering them. She's mothering them on set, and I realized how fully she had sort of inhabited Nicole's role.
It's like you were mothering them. What's it like to hear that?
And it's just sweet. Matt is an incredibly observant man, and the way that I wanted to make sure that the girls playing my daughters and also his girls felt comfortable was to really make sure that they felt seen and heard, and I guess that's what he picked up on.
If you're just tuning in, my guest is the actor Dakota Johnson. You may have seen her in films like Suspiria and A Bigger Splash and Peanut Butter Falcon and the 50 Shades series. Her latest film is called Our Friend. I wanted to talk a little bit about your path to the movies. When did you know you wanted to act for a living?
Always. I always, ever since I can remember being a person, like I whenever I was on set with my parents, I just wanted to stay there. I loved set visits. I loved watching. I never got bored. And, set visits are pretty boring if you don't care so much about being there. And I really did. So kind of forever. I can't remember a time when I thought about doing something else.
What was it about it? What was it that sparked you about it?
I think I don't know how to explain it. I don't want to do anything else. I want to make movies forever, and I've wanted to make movies forever. And TV. I mean, I just want to create visual content that is like that involves, but I think there was something in watching how much people were focused on making a movie and all the components, all of the different people and avenues of thought that it takes to make a good project. Like, you want to first and foremost always be kind and working with good people and respectful. And then think about like, all of the places that you can go with a story, or one that's real, one that's completely made up. It's like just visiting different worlds. I think that's probably what it was for me as a kid, was like having one life and being able to watch a whole other world being created. And I just was like, oh, I want to do that.
And it wasn't an easy path. I mean, as you mentioned, your parents would take you to film sets, and your parents are Don Johnson and Melanie Griffith, and the actor Tippi Hedren is your grandmother. But even though you had, you were born into the industry, you were born into acting. It wasn't always easy for you, and I wanted to talk a little bit about that. I heard this story that your Juilliard audition didn't go incredibly well because of a Radiohead song.
Oh my God, yeah.
Can you tell me that story?
Oh God. I mean, I can't tell you that story. I applied to Juilliard because it was the only college that I thought I wanted to go to. I didn't want to go to college because I wasn't interested in like general education. I grew up going to so many different schools and traveling so much and being homeschooled, and I really struggled with testing, and I really struggled with like time management because I was homeschooled in the years that you learn that stuff. So I didn't go to a real school until I was 10 years old. And then it was like hard for me to be like, okay, so this is how you take a test, and you have to learn it and then regurgitate it. And I was way more of like a visual, tactile learner. I love reading, and I love visiting places. I love traveling and museums and really going deep into learning about one thing. But so then I wanted to make movies. So I just thought, well, I'll apply to Juilliard, where I'll learn how to act really well, as they say they teach people to do. And that was the only place I applied to. And when I went there, it was like you went and you had to prepare 2 monologues, and one was a classic and one was a contemporary. And then they said, when I got there, they were like, speaking to everyone who was auditioning, they said, we'll randomly choose people to sing. And I
Oh,
was
good.
like,
Great.
that sucks for those guys. And then they randomly chose me to sing. And I had not prepared for that at all. So, and Radiohead's album In Rainbows had just come out,
Yeah.
and um, it was all I was listening to. So that was the only song that was in my head. And so I sang a Radiohead song, and it was just they were just like, what are you doing? Like, what are you thinking? No, it was horrible.
What
It
did they
was
want you to sing?
actually
Something from
horrible.
Annie or
But
something
then
like
I
that?
think I dodged a bullet. I really did not want to go there. And then like, I think 6 months later, I was working with, I did The Social Network.
It's a really amazing story. I mean, I read an interview with you with Vogue years ago, and you talked about your early career, and you said you were fighting, waiting for someone to give me a chance, and I can't imagine what it's like to go from that. I mean, as you mentioned, the Social Network happens, but then the 50 Shades thing happens. That franchise coming with such an intense fandom. It's for a big debut lead role, it's a lot. What was it like stepping into that?
That was pretty wild,
Yeah.
but also I had a good grasp of that character. Sam Taylor Johnson, who directed the first movie, was really amazing with me, and um, you know that getting that role was important to me and huge for me because you know you start out in this industry and it's like rejection and auditions and just a lot of no's and a lot of criticism and a lot of like dismantling of your person
Mm.
and then on top of that there's this preconceived notion that because of who my parents are I'm going to be a certain way or I'm not going to be, it's like all of these just hindrances, but then also people who really believed in me and took chances like Sam. And it's just, it's impossible to kind of really truly understand someone's path in this industry, but I'm very grateful.
Well, let me close off this way because I'm getting the note to wrap up, and I could talk to you all day. I want to go back to our friend. You play a woman with terminal cancer, but the way you play her is very multi-dimensional. There's a tendency when people are suffering, and I've gone through this myself, when people are suffering to have apotheosis put on them, turn them into saints, and that's not what you do in this role. Have you heard from people who have gone through this about your performance?
Have I heard from people who have gone through it from Nicole's perspective or
From the
from
family's perspective?
the family? Yeah, some people who have experienced losing loved ones to cancer. But I think it's a hard movie to watch. It's hard to watch even if you haven't experienced that. But I think the most important thing that I've heard is that right now, in this time where millions and millions of people are losing loved ones and losing jobs and losing really big parts of themselves and their lives, that they find some kind of like oneness in this movie. And I think anybody who can find a sense of support right now through any form of art, I think that's the reason why we make it.
It's lovely to talk to you.
Likewise.